Hey everybody, this is Evan Reeves, and I'm working with Justin Michael on the video presentation project. Our goal here today is to demonstrate how to functionally record guitar, acoustic guitar. Some of the modules we'll be looking at include the player, the instrument, the microphone, how to find the sweet spot, and demonstrate a few different styles of guitar playing, how it relates to mic position and sweet spot and finding the sweet spot. And finally, a few tips and tricks. So hope you guys enjoy it, and here we go. The first thing we are going to look at here is the player. Player to me is the most important part of getting a great guitar tone. I've been playing for a long time, traveled internationally to play on albums and projects, and do a lot of work here in Boulder, so I know a little bit about it. Hopefully can communicate that well today. Being a good player is part mindset. It's being calm in front of the microphone. It can feel very strange when you're under the microscope, as we call it. I'll show you some techniques which will be related to finding the sweet spot, and also, we'll look into some different things with moving into the mic and using the mic as a player, how to use the mic to create intensity and to diminish intensity depending on where you might be in a song. I'm going to use a Guild F30 here. This is a great acoustic guitar. It's a 1967. It's got a real soft, sweet sound. It's also, you might notice, it's not a particularly big guitar. And oftentimes people will bring the big dreadnoughts into the studio, and while they sound great, they have so much body, so much low end, you end up having to cut it. This thing doesn't give you that problem. You can find the articulation really easily, but you can also add in body as you need to. So you start with articulation and add in body. This guitar sounds great picking, great strumming, but again, it is up to you as the player to make that guitar sound great. Talk a little bit about the mic today. My favorite mic for acoustic guitar, if I'm just doing a single source or single microphone, is a small diaphragm condenser. In this case, I'm using the AKG 460, and it is the characteristics of a small diaphragm condenser that I enjoy on the acoustic guitars. You can really dial into the tone on the body you want. We've got the neck here, which gets you the articulation, the bridge. Gives you a little bit more low end and tone. The trick is how to mix those together. I think the 460 and other small diaphragm condensers, they allow you to get that tone you want, but it's also punchy. Large diaphragm condensers are also great. They open up the tone a little bit, and you can still get everything you need out of that. Dynamic mics, like the one I'm speaking into, are a little bit less functional on acoustic guitar in terms of really picking up the articulation, the elegance of the instrument, but also functional, and you can absolutely get a good tone with a dynamic mic. And I almost always on these condenser mics, is I use the high pass filter on them. So in this case, I'm rolling off at 70 hertz. It just cleans up the sound a little bit. Honestly, I could probably roll off at 150 hertz, which is another option on this thing. And you might notice I have the mic pretty close here. I'm not in a great recording environment. I'm in a project studio. There are incidental noises, exterior noises. So I tend to mic, number one, I like the way it sounds. I like the way the guitar fills up the mic when it's close. You do have to be careful. Subtle movements make a big difference as opposed to if the mic is farther away in the room. But I do tend to close mic, and that's the reason I'm doing it in here, is just because of the space. Probably a lot of you will have that same confine of being in a place where you hear dishes and dogs barking. So close micing is your friend, and it sounds great. Finding the sweet spot. This is the most important part of recording the acoustic guitar. Well, I'm not going to say that being a great player is, but as far as finding the sweet spot is certainly important. What do I mean by that? The guitar, again, we've got articulation to the neck, picking up string. We've got body as I move closer to the sound hole. Bridge gives you body. A little more muffly. Typically, I won't put a mic on the bridge ever unless I've got one picking up the articulation spot towards the fret. My favorite spot typically to find the sweet spot is right where the neck meets the sound hole. And I like to go off axis. I don't know why, it's just worked for me over the years. Whether I'm picking or whether I'm strumming. Just works. What I do is, instead of having the engineer come in and out of the room and make micro movements on this acoustic guitar, which is great if you're an engineer getting paid by the hour, but not so great if you're the artist trying to record. What I try to do is just move around the mic. I get the mic just roughly placed, and I'll pick and just move around until I think I found that spot where I hear plenty of articulation, but I also get enough body. I'd rather have a little bit too much body that I can cut later than have too little body and try to add it in. That's just generally not a great solution in my experience. So here, I'm just going to move around. So I'm going to go, you'll hear a lot of books say, put that mic on the 12th fret. I'm not a big fan of that. Sounds pretty good. The articulation's a little dull to me. So I'm going to move a little bit more to my happiest place. This gets a little brighter on the highs. Like that. Lows just get just enough. If I go more towards the sound hole, it's a little boomy, a little boxy. Boomy and boxy, not your friend. I just love that spot. A little out of tune, but close enough. So that's fine in the sweet spot. Really just move around until it just makes you feel good, then you've got it. You'll also hear a lot of talk about, say, well, how does that guitar fit into a dense mix? You know, should I just thin it out? And I just want to hear pick noise or something like that. Just use your ears, and at the end of the day, you can cut. If you get a little bit too much low end, you can cut it out and make it fit just fine in the mix, but just find that happy spot. Somewhere right around there. Needless to say, a little post EQ and compression helps too, but don't try to fix it in the mix. Try to get it right in the front end. All right, a few different styles here just to demonstrate now that we've found our sweet spot. Sometimes you do have to adjust the sweet spot. It can be a little loud and clanky if I go from finger picking to strumming. So picking, want to get enough low end, enough warmth, enough boom. I move into strumming, try to do a similar pattern. Boomy. Maybe move back a little bit. Oops, lost my pick. Using a pick now. A few different styles. Few tips and tricks to being a session playing acoustic guitarist. One thing I've learned over the years is your headphone level. Sometimes you want it really loud and clear so you can dig into the articulation. Sometimes you're just trying to catch a vibe and create a bounce, and so hearing too much intimate noise will really throw you off, like you're under the microscope. So oftentimes ask the engineer to turn my headphones down quite a bit so I can just keep a bounce. Justin, would you mind turning my headphone down for me? I'm just going to try to play a little sloppy but get a bounce. Perfect. Especially if I'm strumming. Thanks, Justin. You can bring them back up for me. Another great trick is when you're doing accents, trying to create a little drama is where you play on your guitar. That's sort of low by the neck, high by the bridge. So if I want to do like an accent at a crucial spot in a song, I could do something like that. Just use the higher register ring just to create a little bit of drama. I'm not sure I did it there, but where you play, incredibly important, as is where you play on the guitar on these strings. If I've got a violin playing, another tip and trick here, I'm going to probably avoid these top strings as much as I can, not play that stuff because the violin's doing that. I'll tend to stay down here like if I'm playing Celtic music. Most important thing or another important thing anyway, is just know your headphones a little bit, what they do, where they hype, where they don't. Know your guitar. So when you're looking for that sweet spot, you know what the headphones are doing. It's not about being perfect. It's just about getting close. The perfection comes in just how you emote. So focus on that would be my suggestion. Final thing as a session player is using the mic. If I'm coming into a chorus, I'll oftentimes lean into the mic a little bit. Comes the chorus. Back to the verse. That just creates a little emotion, little intensity, and oftentimes you'll have a compressor, so your level will be the same, but you're still pushing into that compressor, which creates some intensity. So a few tips, a few tricks. All right, well, we're going to sign off here. I want to thank Justin for engineering and filming this, and got a couple of 11-year-old girls floating around upstairs. I want to thank them for being quiet. That has been truly amazing. They get to keep their devices for a little while here, play some more Minecraft. Any questions? Get in touch. Just hope you love what you do. Thanks, everybody.